my name is Kelli Williams, and I'm an energy auditor here at CCI. Cooler weather is on its way, believe it or not, and that means it's time to check and make sure your appliances are running efficiently. The hot water tank is something that uses energy all year, generating hot water for showers and for dishes. In your toolkit this month, you will receive 2 pieces of pipe wrap insulation, which we will be using to keep the heat inside those pipes on your hot water tank. This tube is 3 feet long, but first you'll want to measure your hot water tank pipes just to make sure it fits. Depending on how your hot water tank's set up, you may have a straight pipe like this, but you also may have a 90-degree angle in your pipe, which we will show you how to insulate properly later. So you want to make sure that you're insulating both the hot water line and the cold water line, which you can tell the difference by just giving them a little touch, but be careful not to burn your hands. You want to put the insulation at least 3 inches above the opening of the flue pipe here, just so the insulation does not melt. So if you have a 3-foot straight pipe like we do here, you're just going to take the insulation and you're going to open it at the slit and then just wrap it around the pipe the whole way up. So now we have our insulation properly installed onto our 3-foot straight pipe, and it's the proper safety distance so that we're not going to get any melted insulation. But if you don't have a straight 3-foot pipe and you have an angle in your hot water tank pipe, we'll show you how to install the insulation on that properly next. Now if you have a bend in your water line, the first thing you're going to want to do is measure it, just to make sure you know how many inches long you need the insulation to be. Now keep in mind, we're using the gas line to our hot water tank as an example, since we don't have a bend in our pipes here. But this one over here is the one that you're going to want to insulate, not the gas line. So we measured the bend for our water pipe at 27 inches, so that is where we are going to cut our insulation to match that bend, and we're going to cut it at a 45-degree angle. We're going to be using a saw to make the cut in our insulation, but if you don't have a saw, you could always use a serrated kitchen knife or even an X-Acto knife to make that cut. So again, we measured to 27 inches, so that's where we'll be making our cut, and it's going to be at a 45-degree angle. So again, we are insulating the gas line. Just as an example, you do not need to insulate your gas line. You just want to insulate the hot water line and the cold water line. But neither of ours have a bend, so we're just using the gas line as an example. Now that we have our insulation measured and cut, we are simply going to install it by opening up at that cut and putting on our first piece, and then we're going to push it up to that angle that we're trying to insulate. And then we'll take our second piece, put it on the top part of the bend, and we will push it to meet that angle so that the angle is completely insulated. If you want to get a better seal on the seam of that insulation we just installed, you can use some aluminized tape that you can get from your local hardware store, and you just want to place it right over the joint seam of that insulation. You want to make sure that you do it after the insulation is already installed onto the pipe, and you also want to make sure that you don't use masking tape or duct tape because it can dry out, it can fall off, and it can actually melt onto the insulation. There are several different types of hot water tanks, and the one that we just did an example on was a gas hot water tank, which is probably what most of you have in your home currently. But in case you have an electric one, like the one behind me, you can always contact CCI with any questions that you have, and we'd be more than happy to help you get those pipes insulated. Regardless of the type of hot water tank, it's always a good idea to insulate those pipes because you can prevent heat loss from the hot water tank to your faucet, and just overall, you save energy and you'll save money. Our tip for September is related to your heating system and making sure it's working effectively. Your heating system, whether you have radiators or forced air vents, relies on air circulation to heat your home. Forced air systems blow hot air into the room and relies on air circulation, but if you have something blocking the front of your vent, that means your air vent's going to have to work harder to push that hot air through and ultimately use more energy to heat the room. And really, you're just heating the back of your couch. And if you have a radiator, the air will need to circulate throughout the room and through the radiator coils. As the air passes by the hot coils, it will heat up and the current will carry it throughout the room. However, if you have a box or a frame around your radiator, the air can get trapped inside and won't be able to circulate. And this could result in you having to turn up your heat more because the air can't circulate and do its job properly. Just remember, you're paying to heat your living room, not the furniture in front of the vents. Thanks for watching. For more information on how to make your home healthy and efficient, you can visit CCI on the web at www.getenergysmarter.org, or you can call us at 412-431-4449.